We are in the middle of the sixth major extinction event in our planet's history. As dire as this extinction crisis is, focusing solely on extinction only tells us part of the story. We're also losing populations of species at an alarming rate. Scientists have called this biological annihilation. One tool we can use to combat biological annihilation is translocation, which is just when humans move species from one area to another. Now, when this is part of a planned effort to conserve a species, say restoring a lost population, this is called a conservation translocation. My research focuses on improving outcomes of conservation translocations for species that specialize in particular habitats. Now, the species I study, the dune sagebrush lizard, it takes habitat specialization to the extreme. It only occurs in this narrow crescent-shaped arc of sand dunes that occurs from a few counties in southeastern New Mexico into West Texas. The lizard completes its entire life cycle in this dune system using bowl-shaped depressions of sand called blowouts. However, the lizard's entire range overlies the Permian Basin, the largest oil and gas producing region in the country. Activities from oil and gas extraction have fragmented the habitat and degraded the dunes, and some populations have gone extinct. So, from 2016 to 2019, we conducted the first ever conservation translocation for this species. We used a delayed release approach, which allowed lizards to acclimate in temporary enclosures before being released. We translocated animals in the breeding season to allow females to lay eggs at the site in the first year. And these females did nest successfully, and over the course of the study, we captured hatchlings that had reached adulthood. However, despite our initial successes, the population did not persist. But translocation success stories are rarely ever only one chapter long. We learned important lessons that are applicable to future translocation efforts for the species, from our monitoring methodologies to potential obstacles posed by land tenure situations. So, if we consider that translocation is just moving species from one area to another, we start to see the results of successful translocations all around us. European starlings in our yards, Mediterranean geckos hunting insects under our porch lights. These species are only in the US because of ill-advised or even accidental translocations. So the rest of my research borrows from it scientists who study how invasive species such as these are able to establish successfully. Invasion biologists often examine how factors such as interactions with other species or traits like lifespan or number of offspring produced can affect how successful a potential invader can be. But rather than using these methods to stop population establishment and prevent invasions, I'm using them in my research to help establish populations and fight biological annihilation to conserve our planet's biodiversity.